Hi, I'm Mark Walton for GameSpot UK, and we're here at the EA Winter Showcase with Jonathan Knight, executive producer for Dante's Inferno. So can you give us a brief overview of the game?
Yeah, sure. So Dante's Inferno is action-adventure game. It's loosely based on part one of the Divine Comedy, which is an amazing 700-year-old poem about a guy on a pilgrimage through the afterlife to get to Beatrice, who's the love of his life. And so we basically took the poem and we brought that to life in the game. Dante Alighieri, he basically mapped hell, and he described it in 9 concentric circles descending all the way to the center of the earth with forests and rivers and cities and monsters. And it's just an incredible, fantastical vision, and that's what we've brought to life in the game.
You've been showing off some of the Lust level today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so today we're showing the second circle of hell, which is Lust. It's technically the first circle of hell because Limbo is kind of the arrival and the place where the dead are judged to the circles below, and Lust is the first one. It's a pretty crazy level. We wanted each circle, each sin, to have its own theme, its own art direction, its own environment, world, its own enemies, its own characters and stories. And so Lust, as you can imagine, sort of takes that idea of sexuality and lust and just gives it a very horrific and hellish spin. And in the level, you're chasing Beatrice, and you've got the giant Cleopatra, who is singled out in the poem along with some other historical figures. And we've just basically made her the boss, and she's going to try to stop you from rescuing the girl.
There are some interesting puzzles in Lust. Are they going to form a big part of the game?
Yeah, the game's full of puzzles. It's full of action and combat and platforming, and for me, I like games that are always, they're always fresh and interesting, and there's a lot of variety, and you're not really sort of repeating the same patterns over and over, and that's definitely our game. We've got an amazing team of designers, and each room of each level just has something kind of unique about it, and the pacing's always changing, and so yeah, today we often just show combat because it kind of makes the best trailers, but we wanted to also show some of the variety today in the gameplay.
The art style is pretty graphic in Lust. Did any of your animators have a hard time animating it?
No, the animators have had a brilliant time on this game. I mean, it's just so much creative freedom and creative leeway to kind of express the concepts, and the character designs are so interesting, and our animators are basically just sort of, I don't want to say, in case they're watching this, they're not fighting over the characters, but I think there's definitely a sense of like, ooh, I want to animate her, oh, I want to animate him, and they really get passionate about their characters, and once they get their sort of claws into a character, they really want to do everything they can with it, and we've just got some super creepy and imaginative character designs, and it allows us to definitely sort of push the limits of these ideas with these sins.
Made with your game and God of War, what makes your game different?
Well, I think Dante's Inferno is unique in its sort of total mythology, and it's kind of the story really of this guy's journey through the medieval Christian afterlife, and the fact that it is based upon this old and revered literature, the fact that we've done such kind of extensive research on the poem, obviously taken some liberties with it when it comes to the story, but I think when you play the game, you're going to see an incredible depth to the game in terms of the stories and the damned and the characters that you meet, and also the geography and the special features on the disc, and it really just goes very deep into that medieval Christian world, and so I think that's really special. On the gameplay side, I think what makes it unique is while it is pretty squarely in that action-adventure fighting genre, which is deliberate, and I think people are going to really enjoy that fact. We do have kind of a moral duality to our character, and at first you'll realize that you've got this punishing evil scythe, and you've got this holy cross, and one's kind of melee, one's kind of ranged, but in fact as the game progresses, you earn experience, either holy experience or unholy experience, and you level up down one path or the other, and that completely determines the way that your character is upgraded, the magic abilities you find, these relics that you can equip that only work if you're either holy or unholy, and so forth. So there is a duality and a dual path element to the gameplay, which I think kind of gives it its own personality.
That's great. Thanks for your time, Jonathan. And when's the game out?
Game's due out in Europe here, February 12, 2009.